If you're filing for VA disability for the very first time, or maybe you're going back at it again after trying several times years ago, you're gonna need a simple way to stay organized. So what I've done is I've created this free digital worksheet that will help you have a little bit clearer of a picture so that you don't run into the problem that a lot of veterans face, to include myself, when they first submit their claim, sending it off into the VA without a clear strategy. And what ends up happening is you just get utterly confused and frustrated, and then the VA denies you. And as we all know, it does take a little bit of time to get these things done, so you're gonna waste months, maybe even a year at doing this. And this is why I designed this worksheet. I'm gonna also, if you don't wanna download it, I'm also gonna kind of run through this thing just to give you a clear path on kind of what I think you should do starting out as a veteran that's just now starting out with your VA disability claims process. So really upfront, every claim that you submit must have what is commonly referred to as the big three, okay? There must be a current diagnosis. You may have had a condition for years, but if you're not going to the doctor and getting a current diagnosis, you run the risk of it being denied. So you want to make sure that you have that. Within at least probably a year, you want to have some sort of medical records or something to show that you have a current diagnosis. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to put that condition that you have to something that happened to you in the military, okay? Whether it was just something that you were seen for in the military and it was a condition that you had during the military and you went to the doctor for treatment, or maybe it was an injury or something, maybe you hurt your knee, you had some sort of fall. You want something that happened in the military that you can connect your current diagnosis to. So just to clarify, you may have injured your knee in the military and you went to the doctor, or someone, you injured your knee, but you didn't, go to the doctor, but someone can, witness that, or someone observed it and they can recall that. And together, you can claim that, that incident caused your current knee condition. And you want to make sure that, that there's a connection there. So that's essentially service connection. All right. And that's the big three. You got your current diagnosis, something that, happened in the military, and then the nexus between the two of those different components. Now, the VA has different types of service connection. There's direct service connection, which is pretty much what I just explained. Something that happened in the military, it was directly connected to the military. Then there's secondary conditions, which is when you have a current condition that the VA already recognizes as service connection, but that condition caused something else, and that's secondary. Then there's presumptives, which are much easier, and basically that is you served at a certain time in a certain location, and now you have this current condition, and that's presumptive. The VA presumes that you have it. And then there's aggravation. Aggravation is something that maybe you had before you were in the military, but the military service aggravated it, and you get that. What we're talking about today is like phase one, beginner phase of all VA disability claims, and we're going for those direct service connected conditions or the presumptives. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try and explain to you kind of how I would approach this, how I would develop my strategy for that first disability claim that we're gonna send up. And the first thing I would do is I would click on the link down below in the description box. There is a free link to a Google Sheets document. It's free for you. All you have to do is just have Google. You can click that. It takes you to a Google Sheets document. There's 3 tabs. And the 3 tabs is kind of how I'm going to organize this video today. But you can go along with it if you get that download. If you don't, it's fine. Just get a journal or a notebook or use the notes in your phone. And what you want to do is you want to get a hold of your service treatment records, okay? And you want to look for things that you complained about when you were in the military. And if you've been out for a while, there's probably plenty of examples in there of things that you complained about that were hurting you at the time that you don't even remember doing that. It could just be from your annual physical that you go do, or maybe you went to sick call, whatever it is. Look through those service treatment records and look for things that maybe are currently impacting you now to kind of give you a baseline. You're also going to look for diagnosis from when you were in the military, things that the doctor diagnosed you with. And these should be pretty apparent to you, but maybe not. But you want to go through and you want to find those things. So you want to start that baseline. And basically the worksheet that I have on that tab 1, it gives you the opportunity to tab those all out and say, okay, I had this, I had that, and you can put dates on there. And then you click it over to tab 2, and that's when you start going over some of the questions it gives you a spot in there where you can start typing in that you were diagnosed with this in the military on this date. These were the circumstances surrounding that. And it kind of cheats a little bit to give you an opportunity to kind of start writing a personal statement. The service connection or the nexus piece, right? I injured myself. I went to the doctor on this date while I was on active duty service, and whatever, right? Like the doctor saw me, the doctor said that I had X, Y, and Z, or whatever it was. The doctor had me treat. And then you answer some questions about whether or not this is a current diagnosis or you have a current condition, and whether or not you currently have symptoms. And then when you tab it over to tab number 3, it'll give you an idea. I've got some formulas set up on it. It'll give you kind of an idea of, like, based on the responses that are the things that you clicked on, whether or not you have enough for service connection. Now, it's not foolproof. It's not 100%. It's not guaranteed, but it'll give you an idea. It'll help kind of walk through it to see, like, do I really have enough? And based on some of the answers, if you answer no to them, it may tell you, like, you don't have enough for service connection. But hopefully this will prompt you to figuring out what you need to do. Because the last thing I want you to do is send off a VA claim thinking that you have enough and then you don't have enough. So this worksheet does do that. It'll basically give you that snapshot. And then what I suggest from there is taking that information to a VSO, who's free, by the way, and showing them kind of what your idea is or your theory is. And I think that'll give you a little bit more credibility with the VSOs, so that the VSOs aren't just kind of pushing you away and going on to their next veteran. This will give you an idea of what you have, and then you can take the rest of it and go talk to somebody who's accredited and who does it for free and might be able to help you out the rest of the way. So again, if you want that digital download, it'll be in the description below. I hope it works out for you, and good luck in your journey.